Good
Change your name.
afternoon, good evening, good morning, whichever time you actually look at this thing. This is the Academy Urban Sports Perspectives.
Whichever.
Yeah. So we got some things to talk about. What's going on, D Money? What's going on?
Oh man, nothing much. I guess a lot has happened since the last time we were here. So we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, you also want to change your name there, buddy.
Ah, oh wait, how about both?
Stay for you, Ultimate. You may want to change that.
How
I'm
did
just
Fruity this
just
name
saying.
changed? I don't know. How did that happen?
Yeah, I don't know.
During the chit chat before the show, this is just one of those things that we sometimes we overlook.
We was talking about your mamas.
Yeah.
Pre-show. But anyway. So, gentlemen, so yeah, so let me just start it off by saying Ultimate was actually incorrect this time.
Okay.
Remember what Ultimate said? Ultimate said they will either win all three or lose all three, which that didn't happen. Now they're coming up on a two-game losing streak. Um, but they still got the second seed. How about that?
They do have the second seed, but in my defense, outside of a miracle onside kick, which has only happened like probably 1% of the time, they would have lost all three of those games.
They would have, but if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. So therefore, we can go ahead and discount that. So yeah, that Ultimate was actually incorrect, is like I did say in regards to that. So gentlemen, give me what you got. Go ahead.
I guess I'll get the party started. So, we're getting a mixed bag with the Bears. First and foremost, congratulations to them. So, since we last talked, they won a division. They had an opportunity to actually get the one seed or at least try for it. Unfortunately, that did not happen. But they had the number two seed. So, congratulations to them. And I think if we go back to that Green Bay game, of the three games that they had, the one that they absolutely had to win was the game against Green Bay because that pretty much got them the division, although it wasn't official. It was pretty much a wrap on the division on that victory. And for me personally, it probably was the most exciting game I've seen down the stretch with probably one of the most miraculous plays that we'll ever see in that rivalry. Probably it's got to be the most miraculous play we've ever seen in our lifetime in that rivalry, where you had a walk-off bomb thrown to DJ Moore with a defender literally riding his back. It should have been a penalty thrown on that. It wasn't, but it doesn't
Yes,
even matter. But
yes.
so just outstanding way to pull that victory off. Very exciting win. This team is exciting to watch. No matter what happens, there's never a dull moment with this team. So going into the playoffs, however, we're winning ugly. There's times where both the defense and the offense just doesn't look great. The game yesterday, although they held the Lions to 19 points, it felt a lot worse than that because they pretty much were moving the ball. Time of possession was ridiculous. And you saw a quarterback, Goff, throw over 300 yards. So those things are just not going to work in the playoffs. Most disappointing was the offense because the offense only scored 16 points. And the week before, we put up, what was it, 38 points
Mhm.
against San Francisco. So, we're seeing a little everything with this team. They're not playing great football, but they still manage to pull out victories. But I think the playoffs is going to be different. I think they should beat Green Bay because they're a better team. Green Bay still has some injuries. I think they win that one and it's at home. But beyond that, I don't know. I don't know. And we're going to get into our picks a little bit later for
Mhm.
the playoffs and kind of dig a little bit more into that. But this team has exceeded my expectations this year. So I'm gonna be honest with you. Whatever happens is kind of gravy to me anyway. So whether they win or lose, I'm happy with the season. I know we always say, hey, you gotta take advantage of these opportunities when you get them because you never know what's going to happen next year. But I don't see this team being worse next year. If they can get some key positions filled, especially on defense, I only see this team getting better next year. So next year, high expectations. This year, they've exceeded expectations. So I I can sit back and relax and just enjoy the games. And honestly, whatever happens, happens. I'm good with it.
But you had me until the very end. I was like, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. I was like, ah, man, what's going on here? You start off by saying congratulations, winning the division, second seed, 100%. Congratulations. And then I was so glad you didn't go down the road of congratulating them on overachieving. I was like, perfect, because there's no congratulations for that. Because like I said before, like I've been saying all years, that the moment is now. We can't expect or we can't anticipate next season. So this is still the year. I know there's some teams that have kind of stepped out a little bit in terms of being like the forerunners. There's still no dominant team. I think Seattle, Denver kind of separated themselves a bit, but they're still not dominant team. You're saying this is the Super Bowl winner. So there's still a chance for the Bears. I don't think they're the best team in the league. No. Do I think they can win on Indy Sunday against anybody? Yes, I do. Because like I said, as far as this next year stuff, ask Washington about that last year. In the last year, they was like, oh yeah, we on a roll. We went to the NFC Championship game. Young quarterback, next year's our year. What happened? What happened to Detroit last year? 15, what were they? 15-2, 14-3. What happened?
15-2.
What happened at Baltimore Ravens? They expected to be in the playoffs this year. What happened to the Kansas City Chiefs? They were in the Super Bowl. They were expecting to roll it back. They're not even in the playoffs. So my point is, we just don't know. Do I expect ideally for the Bears to be on an upward trajectory? Of course I do. But we don't know what's going to happen in terms of injuries. We don't know what they're going to feel on the defensive side. We just don't know. And even if they do maintain this upward trajectory, maybe the other teams have a higher upward trajectory and still going to surpass it. So we don't know what's going to happen. So we got to still live in this moment. Don't give the Bears any kudos for winning more than our predictions and for being, number one seed, because they got to take this as far as it can go. Like I said, right now, going into the season, we didn't expect to. Last year, the Bears were a bad team. However, the defense was their strength. We agree with that? Was the strength of the team? I don't think it was a good defense, but it was better than the offense.
Okay, I mean, I guess if it's the tallest midget, fine.
Tallest midget. So that's my point is, and we can look at it in many ways, but this year the defense is definitely the weak link. The offense was top 5 in terms of yardage. The scoring slipped off a bit. I think they were top 10 in terms of scoring, but the defense was bottom 5 in yardage, and I think bottom 3rd in terms of points allowed. The only thing that kept the Bears defense and the Bears, to be honest, in these games were the turnovers, which is a non-sustainable statistic. I guess my point is Vegas has even money for this Saturday. There's no points. It's just even. So I already got my money down for the Bears, but I think they should be they're a better team right now. I think going into week, 19. Green Bay has, I think, more injuries than the Bears, at least at key positions. Bears are going to be at home, so definitely picking the Bears. But I'm not giving them any pats on the back for exceeding expectations. The expectation is now, and we'll see at the end of the season if I, kind of back off on that. But right now, they got to take advantage.
Okay, so everything that Ultimate just said doesn't shock me at all, because that's what you've been preaching the entire year.
That's
so
right.
I will say this. I think the Bears are going to be one and done. I don't think they are going to win on Saturday. I think that what has transpired this year, I am going to give them kudos. I am going to say that I still have them for 7 wins. And so I am going to stay on that mantra. However, um, given what you said, I agree. Next year is not promised. Now, a couple of the examples that you gave, the Baltimore example and the Kansas City example, bad examples, because those were perennial playoff teams years prior to this. The one true example is the Washington Commanders. They thought that last year when they went 12-5, that they were going to be in the upper echelon of the conference, not just their division. And just so happens injuries happen. And the thing that everyone said about Jaden Daniels was that, hey, that man is a waif and he is prone to injury. And that's exactly what has happened. So yeah, this year, this is the year because you don't know what's going to happen next year. And the Bears have already listed as one of the toughest schedules for 2026 because they have a first place schedule. That means they're playing all the first place teams from this year. So yeah, you're already going to see something. And in regards to the division, in regards to other things, this division totally flipped. Bears were last year. Bears are first. Green Bay was third last year. Green Bay second. Minnesota was second last year. Minnesota is third. Detroit was first last year. Detroit is fourth this year. It's the second best division in football. Every team was above 500 this year. We all know who the first was. That is the NFC West. Even with the Cardinals as train wrecked as they was because they just fired their coach today, that's the best division in the entire National Football League at this point because you have three 12-win teams. And in regards to the that number 1 seed, because Seattle won out, Bears actually never had a chance to get it because they have 14 wins, and the Bears could have done would be 13. So as far as yesterday goes, I think what happened was the game plan was pretty vanilla. And I think the team kind of played it up to that point. I mean, if they were going to be that vanilla, I don't know if that was even if they should have just rested players, just like Green Bay did, like Philadelphia did. I don't know. But they were very basic yesterday because I don't think they want to show anything new to Green Bay or any other playoff teams at this point. So we will see. But yeah, I do have them getting eliminated on Saturday.
No, I think they win that one. I think I like the fact that they played their starters. I really don't have a problem with the loss yesterday. It wasn't a meaningless game, but at the same time, it wasn't a meaningful game either, if you know what I mean. If you lose it, worst case is you're going to be the 3rd seed and you got a different team other than Green Bay coming into play. But I like the fact that the Bears played their starters, kind of the same thing that the Rams did. They know that they're trying to win a Super Bowl. And I think Ben Johnson was like, listen, we need momentum going into this game. Even if we lose, we got some things that we can work on and be a little bit sharper than if we give everybody rest. The fact that Green Bay rested people, that's fine. Maybe they're a little bit more rusty. Maybe the rest was what they needed as a team. But I just like that the Bears have a little momentum as far as playing and rolling into, it seems that buys don't really help. Taking weeks off don't really help teams that much. Oftentimes it hurts them. We've seen that in the college playoffs for sure.
Yes, we have.
So I want momentum. Whether it was a good or bad performance, we saw some things that they can work on this week to tweak. Like, listen, our secondary sucks right now. They don't really have any speed. So man-to-man doesn't work for us because we don't have enough speed on defense to stay with any elite receivers that have decent speed. They don't have anybody with sub 4.4 speed on the Bears defense. And some of these receivers, like next week against Green Bay, have a couple of receivers that are 4.3 guys. So you got to figure out and scheme it, and you're going to have to go zone and, bend but don't break. Again, that's what they were yesterday. They played a bend but don't break defense. They still held them to under 20 points, gave up a lot of yards in the meantime.
Only scored one touchdown though.
Yeah, but they did well in the red zone. So
Mhm.
so I'll take that. And I don't think Green Bay, honestly, is that good right now. Of all the teams that are in the NFC playoffs, they to me are the weakest by far. I think all of the NFC West teams are better than the Bears. I don't think the Bears honestly can beat any of them right now. I think those teams are a little bit more fine-tuned, well-oiled machines than the Bears are at this point. And I think in the playoffs, you do have to be playing your best football to win. But so of all the teams that we had to play, Green Bay is definitely the one I wanted to play because we got a good shot. Like Ultimate just said, Vegas sees it as, okay, this is a 50-50 chance that these teams have, but we're at home. So I'm just going to give the edge to us and we're a little bit healthier. But I think we win that one. Now, after that, it's up in the air. I personally think that they'll probably play the Eagles because I think the Eagles are going to beat, is it San Francisco that they're playing?
Yes.
So I think it would probably go Green Bay if they win that one, and then they got to go through the Eagles again. And they do play the Eagles here, if that's the case. So they got a good shot at getting to the NFC Championship, and I think the Rams are going to be there waiting on them, and they cannot beat the Rams. That's just my opinion. I think the Rams are going to have a healthy Devontae Adams, who's probably going to play this weekend. They have a very good coach. They have a very good quarterback, and they've won a Super Bowl together already. So I think they have a little bit more of an edge. When that team plays well, they are hard to beat, and they seem to play a little bit better in the playoffs. So we kind of getting into the seeding a little bit, the brackets, but that was a long way of saying I definitely think they can beat Green Bay on Saturday. I think that they should be favorites in that. Personally.
But see, that's why that game yesterday was important. Even though they lost it, that seed is important because the Bears were 6-4 at home. No, 6-2 at home, 5-4 on the road. The Bears play better at home. They play at home against everyone except I think it will be Seattle.
Correct.
So if it plays out the way you mentioned it, they would be playing the Rams in Chicago. Hopefully, it's terrible weather. The passing game would suck. So my point is that game, yeah, definitely was not meaningless because I think that home field for the Bears in the state they are was important. Since they're not a dominant team, they play a little bit better at home. They can get the running game going. Hopefully this time of year will be inclement weather. I think that will be all advantageous to the Bears. I'm not talking about Saturday against Green Bay because they're used to that. I'm talking about down the road. And then specifically regarding that game yesterday, I had a few concerns. I mean, it was obvious that I would have been okay, like you mentioned, with the defense keeping the score to, what was it, 19, if there wasn't such a domination in time of possession. But they dominated time of possession. If they were getting them off the field, kept the score down, cool. But the Bears didn't have the ball. I don't think they had the ball the first half. I don't think that touched it. to me, it seems like Detroit had the ball the entire first half.
They barely had the ball in the first half.
They didn't touch the ball. So even though the defense didn't let it get out of control, they definitely let it get to the point where the Bears didn't touch the ball. So that was a problem. The other problem was when they were on offense, again, we mentioned this before, other than that Green Bay game when he kind of broke out, where's DJ Moore been at all year? Colston Loveland had a breakout game, and he had 10 receptions, almost 100 yards, touchdown. DJ Moore had 1 reception, 3 targets. He's missing in action again. I'm not blaming this on him. I'm not sure if it's the play calling. I'm not sure if Caleb doesn't consider him as a viable option. Well, I don't know if the defense is keying him. I don't know all that. I'm not smart enough to know that, but I know he only had 1 catch yesterday. And as far as the defense is concerned, you're right. The defense is terrible right now, defensive line and the DBs. Jalen Johnson has been, man, I don't even know how to describe him since he's been back. All I ever see Jalen Johnson doing is chasing. He's always running after somebody. They're always like 3 steps ahead of him, and he's chasing them, and they got the ball. That's all I see out of him. And obviously Kyler Gordon's been hurt all year, so that's a thing. But the defensive line, I think, is the bigger problem because
Yes.
the Bears can't. We talked about this several weeks ago. The Bears can't create pressure with 4.
No.
And when they bring 5 or more, they still can't get pressure, and they get burned on the back end with the one-on-ones. It happens every time. We can't create pressure. Let's bring some pressure, and then they get burnt on the one-on-ones. It happens all the time. And yeah, so that's the issue. The offense has been up and down, but still, they still finished in the top of the league in terms of yards and scoring. So we can't discount that. It's the defense that's at the bottom of the league. So that's the area of focus for the Bears. But since they're at home, Green Bay is kind of up and down, injuries. I still see the Bears winning that game
Can I say one quick thing about DJ Moore?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's just my personal feeling. I do not think he's 100%, man, because he's been injured a lot. He gets injured. You see him almost every game going to the sidelines, hobbling. And I think he's just gutting it out for the team and just getting out there. I don't think I'm not making excuses for him, but you are right? He's not where he's not playing where we expect him to play. He's not getting open. He's not creating the separation that he normally can. I just don't think he's at 100%, but I just think he's gutting it out for the team. But I really don't feel like he's at 100%. I could be wrong, but he is noticeably, especially now that Rome is not playing, you would think that he should just be killing it right now. But he's not.
He's not. And Fruit, is Rome expected back for like this weekend?
Don't know. But Kyler Gordon is going to be hopefully back. Hopefully. That's technically they said that he probably could have even played this past weekend, but they don't want to what happened the last time where it's a game time decision where, oh no, I guess he can't go. And then you don't have anyone that you can get off the inactive list. So I am hopeful in regards to that. And in regards to DJ Moore, could have helped a little bit more on that interception. Kind of like he kind of gave up on that route. But also, who is 100% right now? This is the end of a hard ass NFL season. Everyone's a little bit dinged up, but yeah, I do think there is something. I do think I'll give him. I hate to say this, I'll give him kudos for gutting it out. I'll say that, but I do think that there is something that's probably wrong with him. And I don't know if you guys realize this, but because of the day that Colston Loveland had yesterday, he actually becomes the second tight end to lead the Bears in receiving yards in the season.
Was it the coach? Was he the first?
No, it's Ditka. Ditka was the only one that ever did it. And yeah, so Colston Loveland. So it turns out I hate to do this, but I guess I'm going to have to. I guess Ryan Poles had a pretty decent draft as it turned out, because Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, and Trapillo. I think it actually kind of worked out. Now,
Monangai, let's not forget Monangai.
And Monangai. Yeah, I think it kind of worked out.
It was a good draft, but I don't think they would have had Colston without Ben Johnson, and probably not Monangai. They may have drafted the offensive lineman and maybe the receiver, but I think the dual tight end and Monangai would have Ben Johnson written all over it. So basically I'm saying I'm not giving your guy any credit, basically is what I'm saying.
Well, but he hired Ben Johnson. So I mean,
okay, I'll give credit for you.
Here's the thing.
No, I think Kevin Warren hired Ben Johnson.
Well, according to Ben Johnson, he wanted to work with Ryan Poles. That's out of his mouth. He said that. So here's what you have to do, in my opinion. If you're going to tear a guy down when the team's not playing well, then when they are playing well, and he's got some of the key people he put that offensive line together. Yeah, we all know he had no choice. Yeah. But he put it together. He signed those guys. So he still got the players. in one off season, he got the head coach. He did enough things right where that's part of the reason and a big part of the reason why this team is playing well.
No, I agree. You know, again, I almost vomited in my mouth by trying to, because I wanted him so gone before the start of the season.
Sure.
But you have to give him some kudos in regards to this, because I think down the road, Colston, Loveland, and Burton are going to be problems for the league. So that's, I mean, those are two cornerstones, and then you have Rome, and then, you know, hey, DJ Moore could be traded next year if things go, you know, because, you know, Max Crosby is looking to get out of Las Vegas. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, things could happen, but
whatever you need to do to get Max Crosby, I think is well worth it.
Well,
that's what they need. And so I'm going to give an official apology to Ryan Poles for not giving him any credit. But I will give him credit for like keeping his mouth closed most of the year. Because last year you heard him every other week.
Yeah.
This year I haven't heard a peep out of him, and I already appreciate not having to hear the GM talk on a regular basis.
Well, it's because you have a coach, right? Last year you didn't have a coach, so you had a buffoon for a coach. So yeah, that's why the GM had to come out and talk a lot, because you didn't want that buffoon ass coach to talk.
That's right.
Give him some props in regards to the roster this year. You give him some credit. So that's two people that Ultimate had to go back on. The other one was the Lions quarterback that we saw throw for over 300 yards yesterday.
I am picking up
he
to
was the number one pick.
I accept the fact that I was wrong.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he was the number one pick. Yeah, you know, right. Yeah, you know, yeah, 70% is, it's 4,000 yards. Yeah.
So, you know, refresh my memory. What did Ultimate have to say about Goff? That he was a manager, a game manager.
Yeah. And I called him a system quarterback. Yeah,
system quarterback.
I mean, you might be right about that, and I think you said the same thing about Brock Purdy too, didn't you?
If I didn't, I believe it, but yes.
But you know what? And let me push back a little bit on what D Money said in regards to the better team. We all saw the Seattle 49ers game. 49ers were wounded after that game because they got put back to got their asses handed to them back to the woodshed because of Seattle's defense. And so I actually think that the 49ers are probably going to be one and done, just for the simple fact that they're not the same team that played them for that this past Saturday. They got their, you know, what's handed to them, and they had it all set up. They had the last two home games at home, and then they wouldn't have had to go anywhere. They would have had a week off, been able to play the divisional round. And if they won that, then the championship. And then if they won that, the Super Bowl, all at home. And they blew it, because that Seattle defense is effing real.
Oh, it's real. The offense, not so much. But the defense,
you don't know what you're going to get from Sam Darnold.
No. And well, I do know in the playoffs what I'm going to get from him. And it's not much. He's not a bright lights player. But the defense is so dominant, they might be able to overcome his inefficiency.
But look, last year when so Sam Darnold, let's keep it a buck. 2 years now, he's had the same 14-3 record. So that's a little bit more than a coincidence. Now, in last year's last game where they could have been the top seed last year, he didn't perform well. But this year, didn't turn the ball over. I don't know about their offensive play calling, but I mean their OC probably is going to be gone, because he looks like he's going to be a head coaching candidate. But he didn't turn the ball over, threw for about 200 yards. They do have a number one wide receiver. Jackson Smith-Njigba is that dude. Led the league and had almost 1,800 yards of receiving yards this year. He is that dude. So yeah, he's made strides. You still don't know what you're going to get from him, but I do think, turns out, I guess Sam Darnold actually is good.
Pro. So I'm gonna raise my hand. Listen, so you mentioned he's 14-3 the last couple of years.
Mhm.
Who else has been a perennial performer during the regular season and always falls flat during the playoffs? I'm gonna give you one or two guesses. He's
And
not in the playoffs this year.
uh, I already know who you're talking about. They just lost last night.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So regular season means nothing. Regular season success means nothing if you haven't proven it in the playoffs. And last year, 14-3, he lost first game. So
Mhm.
until he went, so basically what I'm saying is he hasn't proven to be a clutch player in high pressure situations.
Okay. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I'm saying that as from last year to this year, he's passed one test that he failed last year by not winning the last game of the season. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying. He's made that adjustment at the very least. So let's
And
see what
thanks to the
happens going
defense.
forward.
That's all thanks to the defense. How many points did they score?
No, they only scored 13 points, and this is a team that the Bears scored 38 against them. That's true. I'll give them that because that's the other thing in regards to San Francisco. San Francisco coming to Chicago when it's cold, and their defense sucks just as much as the Bears defense does because they don't get any pressure on the quarterback either, and because their main defensive players are hurt, so then they're not playing. So yeah, that actually I'm not sure that Green Bay was the absolute best opponent for the Bears. I think the 49ers were ripe too. I don't expect them to win in Philadelphia either. So, but anywho, is there anything else that we have in regards to this, or do we start to move on to what is our Super Bowl predictions?
Just one quick thing. It kind of went
Sure.
under the radar a little bit, but Caleb did set the record for the most passing yards for a Bears quarterback. He was just maybe 60 yards, maybe a little less than 60 yards shy of 4,000. So listen, we got to give him some kudos for that. I mean, if you look at all the passes that were dropped, you look at all the easy passes that he should have made, he probably should have had 4,500 yards
Probably.
for this past season. So, but
Well,
we got
they're
to give him
saying that
kudos.
the drop passes would have been an extra 400 yards. So just
Probably.
with the drop passes.
Yep. That and his sacks were down like he had a third of the sacks he had a year ago.
Yeah.
That was dramatic.
Yeah. So I mean, no. So listen, I said it before. I know D Money, was like, you want to hold back on that because of Matt Nagy. But yeah, I do think we have the coach, and I'm going to say I think we have the quarterback. I think we have the two things that we need, and with this league, it's good that the Bears have it appears to be a really good offensive coach that will stay, right? So I think the Bears have finally come into the modern NFL. It's about time. I mean, it took a long ass time for that to happen, but I think it's finally here. Will they make the playoffs next year? Another day. So as we go through our predictions, I have it bracket by bracket or what you want to do. So you two go ahead and I'll clean this up.
I have the bracket in front of me, but everything is so unknown. It was hard for me to kind of just really put it into perspective. But I will say this. I do have the Bears winning at home against Green Bay. I have the Bears winning all their home games. So I definitely would think they would win Green Bay week 1 in the playoffs. And then they would likely have it be Philadelphia or San Francisco, correct? Or it could be the Rams.
No.
Philadelphia, San Francisco.
Philadelphia or San Francisco?
No. You're right, actually, because it gets reseeded. So it would be if Philadelphia wins, it would be Philadelphia, obviously. But if San Francisco wins and the Rams win, then it would actually be the Rams. Because the NFL reseed.
Yeah, because they reset. So I mean, if the Bears are at home in January, I'm going to make them the favorite for that game. So I got the Bears winning the first 2 games, and then if it plays out the way the seeding is, they would be playing in Seattle for the NFC Championship game. So in my Logic is telling me, of course, that wouldn't be a good thing for the Bears. However, since I think this is the year of destiny,
Oh
I know this
no.
is illogical,
Oh no.
and since my money is going to be in the Bears regardless, and no one else is going to pick the Bears, I'm not either. So I'm going to say Bears and Seattle in the NFC Championship game, and then you got to kind of go with Seattle because they're going to be at home. They'll be the front runner. On the AFC side, man, I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't like Pittsburgh. I don't like Houston. Buffalo is not their year. I could see the Chargers sneaking and winning a few games. Obviously, New England's playing well. I think the three teams that have potential, Denver, obviously, New England, obviously. I think the dark horse in that is Jacksonville. They got a real good defense, been playing very well. Trevor Lawrence has actually been playing very well. It's not going to be Denver. I'm going to go with New England.
Wow. So New England versus Seattle, which would be a rematch. So,
Which will be a rematch.
so
And then
who wins that?
Seattle. I'll say Seattle will win that game. Seattle will win that game. But but for some reason, I'm thinking Seattle's not going to get there in the first place, which is why I think the Bears would oversee them. But I have no idea who's going to win the AFC. So this is just me just talking out the side of my head.
No. But
I would like the if I had to go on some rooting interest, I want something different. I would love to see Jacksonville make a deep run into the playoffs. That's what I want to see. I don't know if they have the capability to do it. And the team I don't want to see win is Denver. For some reason, I'm just not a Sean Payton fan. I just don't want to see that happen. So, yeah. So I'm not even going to pick anybody for the AFC. I don't know who. My answer is I have zero idea who's going to win. I hope Jacksonville gets there. So I'm going to say Jacksonville, and then I'm going to say and the Bears. That's the Super Bowl.
And who and well, do I even need to ask who wins that?
So I switched up my NFC from Seattle to the Bears. So it's the Bears, Seattle, now Bears and Jacksonville, and then the Bears win. There you go. That's my fairy tale Super Bowl prediction.
Wow.
My quote is my fairy tale Super Bowl prediction.
All right. D-Money.
All right. So I see things a little bit differently than Ultimate. And let's start with the AFC. I see a lot of fool's gold as a word that Ultimate likes to use. A lot of fool's gold in the AFC. I think the Broncos are fool's gold. I think the Jaguars are fool's gold, and the Patriots. So I don't see any of those teams making it to the Super Bowl. But I like the Texans. I really like how they've come on the second half of the season, and that defense is pretty legit too. So I see the Texans, and I'm going to say the Bills making it to the AFC Championship. With the Bills, finally, I think this is probably the year that Josh Allen gets his team to the Super Bowl. And I think they do it over the Texans. And I think that's going to be a really good, tight game. But I think Josh Allen is determined, and I think he's due. So I think the Bills make it to the Super Bowl. In the NFC, there's some fool's gold there too. Seattle Seahawks is the one. I think that I think the Eagles will beat the San Francisco 49ers and play the Bears. And I know for a fact that the Rams are going to beat the Panthers. And I see the Rams playing Seattle the very first game. And Seattle got lucky against the Rams the last time, if you saw the game. I do not think Seattle can beat. I know Sam Darnold cannot beat the Rams consistently. So I say it's going to probably be see the Rams making it to the NFC Championship. I see the Bears beating the Packers, and I see the Bears beating Philadelphia. Bears versus the Rams. I just don't think I think the Rams can come to Chicago and beat us. So I'm going to say it's going to be the Rams and Buffalo in the Super Bowl.
Who wins that?
Rams are going to be tough to beat in the Super Bowl, my friend. I mean, they've already proven they can do it. We said this a long time ago. Great teams are great usually because they have a great quarterback and a great coach. Bills have a great quarterback. I am not so sure they have a great coach.
Fair.
I don't know if he has what it takes. I think they get to the Super Bowl just because Josh Allen is going to will them there, but I don't know if they have what it takes to beat a coach like they have with McVay on the Rams and a quarterback and two really, really good receivers that are going to be hard to stop. So I see the Rams win the whole thing.
Okay. All right. So, D Money, I won't say we're in lots step, but I'm going to go down and I'm going to be very tight in regards to what I have here. So for the NFC for the wild card, Rams and Panthers, Rams. Packers and Bears, Packers. 49ers and Eagles, Eagles. Okay. So it gets reseeded. And so the next round will be Packers, Seahawks, Seahawks. Rams, Eagles. Rams get revenge in Philadelphia, Rams. NFC Championship, Rams, Seahawks in Seattle. Rams will be the NFC champion. Okay, now here's the AFC, and this is where Ultimate and I have the same thought that we don't know what the hell is going to happen. However, D Money, I got something for you. All right, so wild card, Bills and Jaguars. Bills. Chargers and Patriots. Chargers. Texans and Steelers. Texans. So I have all three road teams winning in the wild card round of the playoffs in the AFC. All right, so again, it gets reseeded. Chargers and Broncos. Broncos. Bills and Texans. Texans. AFC Championship. Texans and Broncos. Texans. I'm saying that the Texans are going to go to the Super Bowl because we don't know what the hell is going to happen. And look, and let me just say this. The Bears won't win the Super Bowl, but they could because that's just the way this league is right now. And so we don't know. So Texans and Rams. Rams. I said this I think was it 4 or 5 years ago when I had the Rams going through the playoffs and winning the Super Bowl. I was correct then. I'll be correct now. So that's where we are. Rams, Texans, Rams winning their second Super Bowl in about 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I can see that. And I think both of you guys' predictions are probably a lot more likely than mine. However, I think it's going to come if it comes down to like the quarterback play, obviously the Rams will be up there, but I'm not going by historic quarterback play from like going by the person's name. I'm talking about this year. If we're talking about this year, I trust Trevor Lawrence more than I do Aaron Rodgers, more than I do CJ Stroud, and more than I do. I know Drake Mays had a great year, but he's still a rookie, and I think he's going to fold in the playoffs. More than that, I trust Herbert, Justin Herbert. I trust, Bo Nix is kind of going to be assistant guy with Sean Payton. That's kind of why I pushed Jaguars through because I think Trevor Lawrence, a little more experience. I trust him more than many of those other quarterbacks other than Allen. I just don't think it's their year, though. So I don't know. I think it's just up in the air. It's going to come down to quarterback play, obviously, other than when you got a dominant defense, which is a couple of teams. But I don't know. It's just all charades and guessing. But I'm sticking with my Jaguars and the Bears.
This is what your NFL wanted. We have no clue. We are guessing. We are spitballing it. We are throwing it up against the wall, and we're seeing what sticks. So that's what we have. All right. So I guess it's time for our segments. Is that it's ultimate first, right? Because obviously it's ultimate, right?
Look, I will say this. I don't think anybody really was worthy of any ultimate performances. I didn't see anything great. I know this is old. It's a few weeks ago, but we haven't talked since. I will give like a little runner-up to Anthony Joshua for knocking out, Jake Paul. I'm not sure if you guys saw the fight.
Thank
But
God.
but anyway, that madness had to stop. I'm not sure if it's going to stop, but at least it got slowed up a bit. So kudos for knocking Anthony Joshua out. People were criticizing him for not knocking him out in the first round. How can you knock somebody out in the first round who's running around and not engaging in the fight? It would have been impossible.
But then he wasn't.
He ran out of
And
gas.
then he was. So anyway, but the ultimate performance goes to, there's nothing I like more than when, Drew, you said this several times throughout the year. You said there was a lot of mediocre play throughout the league.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's the word you used, but you weren't saying anything great, maybe nothing super bad, but everything was kind of mediocre, or in some cases just poor performance.
Mhm.
And when that's happening, there's no reason to accept or just kind of go with the status quo, like, okay, we're good, let's just keep things going the way they are. So for me, when you see that, you got to make a change. Like, it's kind of like the Chicago Bulls now. They're not super bad, but they're not super good. You just can't stay in the middle. You got to make a change. You either got to weather the change, may drop you back a little bit, but at least you're trying something different.
Mm-hmm.
So when it came to I guess it is Monday, it came to the day, a lot of the NFL executives came to the same conclusion that I did. It's time to make a change. So the ultimate performance goes to all those GMs and or executives. I think some GMs got fired too.
Yep.
For like supporting Black Monday and getting rid of, I think it was 4 coaches today. Was it 4, 5, 6?
It was 5 because they got rid of 1 yesterday.
Got
No.
rid of one
No. You know what? It was 3 because 2 were released during the season. So it's 6 openings now. So 3 were fired today.
So with that being said, just the NFL executive and or GM saying, look, enough is enough. We may not be that bad, but we're not that good either. We got to look into the future and make some changes. And which is what, and I'm gonna go back to this Ryan Poles thing, which is why Ryan Poles was a year late in firing, I forgot to give his name.
Eberflus.
Eberflus. And if he did fire Eberflus when we thought he would fire him, the Bears wouldn't be in this, oh, we are year away status, right? Because it would happen last year, and this would be the year we would be saying, okay, the Bears are ready to win. Right?
Right?
All right. So with that being said, I'm just saying, because Money was saying that the Bears are a year away. They should be glad where they are. But if Eberflus was fired when he should have been fired, Ben Johnson was just waiting for that Bears position to open up. This will be 2 years in. This will be him working with Caleb for 2 years, and we'll be talking about Super Bowl instead of, okay, wait until next year. So anyway, that's a long way of saying ultimate performance goes to all these GMs who fired the head coaches.
All right. Okay. I mean, that took a minute. You went like way around the world, like Superman. Actually, not even as fast as Superman, but why? I'm happy you got to that.
A little convoluted, a little wild, but hey, fire the man if he's not working out for you.
D-Money, please take us away.
All right. So it's been a long time since we last talked, and it's been a lot of hot garbage. Jake Paul being one of them. But it's kind of old news right now. So I thought it'd be more fitting to go with something that more recently happened. And if you had a chance to watch the football game last night between the Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers, you can see it was a good game, kind of a back and forth game. But at the end of the game, it came down to a couple of kickers needing to make really crucial kicks, but easy kicks.
Yeah.
So the first hot garbage goes to Mr. Chris Boswell, the kicker for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who kicked a field goal that looked to start on line, but just faded to the right, and he missed an extra point, which was crucial because it gave Pittsburgh a 2-point lead instead of a 3-point lead. Mm-hmm. And of course, the Ravens get the ball and get in an easy field goal range, and now a field goal wins the game. And for this kicker, it's a chip shot, really. All he has to do is just kick it, and it goes through, and the game's over. But this guy choked so bad, it was never online. He shanked it straight to the right. And it was so bad that he literally started crying after he kicked the field goal. So listen, that's a high pressure situation, right? And we all understand that. But these guys get paid a lot of money to make these kicks, and they weren't even difficult kicks. So unfortunately, I feel bad for them, especially for the guy on the Ravens because he's a rookie.
Tyler
But
Loop.
for you, Tyler Loop and Chris Boswell, both of you kickers are hot garbage. Replace them both.
So in the year where you had the guy for Jacksonville who kicked a 67-yard field goal yesterday, who also has the record for the 68-yard field goal earlier this year, who kicked a 70-yard field goal in preseason, you got a guy that missed a 44-yarder to win the division and get into the playoffs, and just it was never close. And I feel bad. If you're a football team and you battle for 59 minutes and 58 seconds, and it comes down to these damn kickers. What the hell, man? Okay, sorry.
You missing something though. I mean, I love Lamar Jackson, but it's the Lamar Jackson curse. I mean, we've been talking about this for years.
But you know what?
It was inevitable.
but he got them to where they needed to be and then some.
Don't matter. It's the curse.
Well, I mean, look, if their other kicker wouldn't have liked the massage thing, you probably would have had a better shot of making that field goal. But I'm just saying. Okay, so for Rising Stars, so the college football playoff, apparently, if you have a bye, you cannot win that next game. It didn't last year. All the teams that had byes last year lost. This year, all the teams that had byes lost, except one, which I'm going to put as the rising star because the Indiana Hoosiers are in the freaking Final Four. And they absolutely destroyed the University of Alabama. As a matter of fact, it was their worst loss in a bowl game in school history. 38-3, and it wasn't even that close if you saw the game. So the Indiana Hoosiers are my rising star, and they can actually be the first college team to go 16-0 in the season.
Yeah, I'm rooting for them.
I am definitely rooting for them. And by the way, Alabama should never have been selected to go in this year. So anyway, that's a side note, but they proved it with that loss. The way they got their butts kicked by, was it Georgia in the championship, SEC championship?
Yeah, but they did win a game though in the football playoff.
Who were they playing?
Oklahoma, the team that actually beat them earlier in the year.
Yeah, I still don't think they should have made it. I think I would have put maybe Notre Dame in there. Besides, Notre Dame made it to the championship last year. Just because of that, I think I would have put them, and they only lost 2 games as opposed to 3 games.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, I do have a runner-up for Rising Star, and this is a state thing. So as we are talking right now, the Illinois State Redbirds are actually playing in the national championship game for the FBS. They're playing against Montana State. So if the Redbirds win tonight, they will be the second team from Illinois to win the FBS title.
FCS.
Do we know who that first team was?
Southern Illinois University.
That's right. The 1983-84 Salukis. That is absolutely correct. So, but yeah, there are the runner-ups in regards to this. Good luck to Illinois State. I hope they pull it off because they have actually went through the entire playoffs, and except for the game against North Dakota State, the games haven't been close. They've been beating the pants off of folks. So, all right.
Not tonight.
It ain't looking too good right now, but yeah.
What
21-7.
Okay. All right.
Montana.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. It is what it is, but it's Illinois State, whatever.
Third quarter.
Anyway, so as far as doing too much, it's the same answer that we've had every time for doing too much. It's the orange mango president.
Mr.
And
Tito.
yeah, yeah, and it's right now. He's definitely doing way too much. Now he's talking about going to Mexico and Greenland and all these other places. What are you doing? What happened to no more wars? What happened to all of that stuff? People are so stupid.
Oil.
Yeah, the oil. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, this country and oil has been a thing for a very long time, and it's no different. So, all right. So, any last thoughts before we bid adieu?
No, man, it's been a good final 3 weeks of the season. It was a good season. I enjoyed it. A lot of stuff happened this year that we didn't expect to happen, and sometimes that's a good thing. So it was one of I say the best NFL seasons for me to watch because it was all over the place. I kind of like it when it's like that. You really can't predict it, so it makes it that much more fun to watch.
Ultimate.
No, I agree. It was a great season. I like the parity. I like not knowing what's going to happen. I like not having a, presumed Super Bowl champion when the season starts. So it's kind of playing out just like that. And like you said, Fruit, that's kind of how the league wants it. I think that's how most of the fans want it, and that's the way it's playing out, which is why I still think the Bears have a outside chance of making it all the way. It's all about the parity, all about week to week. It's all about who's playing better that particular day. And as the NFL says, any given Sunday.
All
Can
right.
I, can I say this about the Bears, just in harmony with Ultimate? They have the talent to win a Super Bowl. They just have to play well. They have to play better. They have to play some solid games. So I think they've got the talent. That offense is talented enough to win it. The defense, not so talented, but I think the scheming, they can overcome some deficiencies. But there's no reason why they shouldn't win it. They just have to play well.
Okay. All right. Well, uh, hopefully this time, either a week or 2 weeks from now, we'll be talking about the Bears' second game. Until then, D Money,